Maybe you can relate to this. I was having a conversation the other day with a potential client, and they called me up and they said, Dr. Frank, I got a massive problem. I love smoking weed, but I feel like I need to quit. I feel like I should stop. Have you ever seen a situation like this before? And I kind of laughed in my head thinking to myself, yeah, I deal with this type of situation every single day inside our one-on-one coaching programs. Shocker, most people who struggle with a cannabis substance use disorder or weed addiction actually get some benefit or perceived level of pleasure or joy from consuming cannabis. Most people who are struggling to quit weed don't actually hate weed. They might dislike some of the side effects related to cannabis substance use, but when it comes to cannabis itself, they don't actually hate the experience. If that were the case, they wouldn't be struggling to stop in the first place. Because if you truly didn't like a behavior that you were doing, if it truly disgusted you, you probably wouldn't be doing that behavior anymore, or you wouldn't struggle that much to change it. So I told this potential client, I said, yeah, I see this all the time. And it's especially true among individuals just like this person was, that tend to be a little bit more successful, that have tended to build really beautiful lives for themselves despite cannabis substance use. So in today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you 3 ways to approach this conundrum if this sounds like a scenario that you found yourself in recently. Now, real quick, if you're a high-performance individual, we have a science-backed method that has a 98% success rate at helping people quit cannabis and nicotine in as little as 48 hours. Privately, without disrupting your public life, your public image, and without relapse. You can check out the link to that in the video description. Now look, with the exception of individuals who truly want to stop consuming cannabis, but have become super physically dependent upon it and experience extreme withdrawal symptoms when they're stopping, and the physical dependence and the extreme withdrawal is the only thing that's stopping them from consuming cannabis, which is rare, but I've certainly seen it time and time again inside our programs. Everyone else, in a majority of cases, is going to have some degree of perceived benefit or benefit, pleasure, enjoyment from consuming cannabis. And the first thing you should do if this is you is I would challenge you to question your convictions. I would challenge you to start to question your belief system surrounding cannabis substance use. And you could apply this to cigarettes, stimulants, alcohol. You could really apply this to anything. You say you smoke weed because it helps with the boredom. You say you smoke weed because it helps with the stress and anxiety. You say you smoke weed because it helps with the depression. You say you smoke weed because it helps with creativity and it makes you more locked in. You say you smoke weed because it provides you with pain relief and it gets you a better quality sleep at night. You say you smoke weed because you need to do it in order to socialize with other individuals. I want you to start to question the perceived benefits of cannabis consumption and ask yourself, are these convictions that I have surrounding my substance use, are they true? Or is it that I've been consuming cannabis for such a long period of time, maybe months, decades, or years, that I don't know any other way anymore? This is where you have to begin, because I've seen it time and time again. People will tell me, Dr. Frank, I hate smoking weed. There's no reason I smoke it. It's only because I'm addicted to it. And then I'll talk to them for a little bit in our conversations, and 99.99% of the time, I'm able to find some degree of perceived benefit surrounding the consumption of that drug. Time and time again, people will say to me, Dr. Frank, no, it's just I'm this really self-destructive person, and I just don't know how to stop self-sabotage. And I always point out to them, look, we identified some beliefs that you have surrounding cannabis consumption. You believe it helps with stress relief. You believe it makes you a more patient parent. You believe it makes you a more patient CEO and better able to manage the stress of your business. That's not self-sabotage. You're partaking in a behavior that you believe is benefiting you despite the fact that it might have had some negative consequences. And when I point this out to people, it's usually like a light bulb moment goes off in their head. This is where you want to start though. Questioning your beliefs, questioning your convictions. I just had a client that we recently started working with in our one-on-one coaching program. And this individual is in charge of a really large shipping and logistics kind of operation, okay? And when I asked them what it was they enjoyed about cannabis, they said, I don't know how to describe it, but it gives me a feeling of lightheadedness, kind of a feeling of relaxation. It eases all my thoughts. But when I asked them why they wanted to quit cannabis, the first thing they told me was, I get a lot of brain fog, especially after a big cannabis binge over the weekends. They said it's definitely impacting my physical health in a negative way. When I consume cannabis, I tend to eat a lot of junk food, and I'm really concerned about my body weight because I've worked really, really hard to lose a lot of weight after quitting alcohol some time ago. They said it leads to a ton of procrastination in their life. And I said, okay, wait a minute. Is it really creating that degree of lightheadedness that you're telling me it is? Because I was like, look, good thing you're not in sales, because you'd be doing a really crappy job selling me on the idea that cannabis is providing you with that stress relief or lightheadedness that you're describing. Because to me, it sounds like you're pretty stressed and pretty unorganized when it comes to being concerned about, should I smoke, should I not smoke? Oh my gosh, it's damaging my physical health. Oh my gosh, my work is piling up because it's making me procrastinate. Oh my gosh, all these things. So this is how we start to devalue the drug, and this is how we start to devalue our belief system surrounding that substance. Now, I make it sound easy in this video because I've been doing this for 7+ years with literally hundreds of people inside our coaching programs, but it can be done. It can be done, and this scratches the surface of that. In many cases, these convictions, these beliefs, they turn out to be more delusions than truths. And that's what we're trying to sort out in today's video for you. Now let's look at this from a different perspective. Let's say you determine that you really do love consuming weed. And maybe there's some downsides to it, but the downsides to smoking are really, really minimal. And you feel that the benefits greatly outweigh the negatives. Well, if that's the case and you're trying to stop, maybe you're at a point in time where you have to take a break from quitting cannabis. Sometimes it's just better to smoke and not worry about it than stress over smoking. You have to come to a point where you either give yourself permission to enjoy consuming weed or you give yourself permission to quit. Because I can guarantee you, the person who's smoking weed, eating edibles, and has 0 ounces of shame, regret, or disappointment in their decision to consume is 1,000 times better off than the person who's constantly consuming cannabis, but who is constantly second guessing themselves. Because if you go through life in cannabis consumption, and this could apply to cigarettes too or other drugs, you're eventually, and you want to quit, but you keep on doing it, you're eventually going to hit a level of decision-making fatigue. It's that back and forth. Should I quit? Should I not quit? Oops, I smoked again. I regret it. I feel shameful. I feel disappointed in myself. Oh, I feel so much disappointment. I'm just going to smoke again to deal with the disappointment. It's that vicious cycle that I was stuck in for many, many years of my life throughout active substance use. But it results in decision-making fatigue. And that fatigue can fall into or spill over into decisions about your relationships, decisions about your business, decisions about other personal and professional aspects of your life. It is one of the worst side effects that a person who truly loves smoking weed, who's feeling like they're forcing themselves to quit, can experience. Either embrace smoking or embrace quitting. The choice is truly yours. But if you need help making that choice, and you are a high-performance individual, maybe you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're an executive, or some other high-level professional, we have a science-backed method that has a 98% success rate at helping people quit nicotine and cannabis in as little as 48 hours, privately, without group meetings, without having to admit you're a powerless addict, without disrupting your public life and image, and without relapse. I put a link for that in the video description below. Now, scenario number 3, and this is maybe one of the most challenging things to get past, is the person who loves consuming cannabis, but they feel that they are being forced to quit. Maybe because of how cannabis has damaged their business. Maybe because of how it's damaged their relationships. Maybe because of the physical health risk and mental health risk cannabis consumption is putting them at. If you feel like you are forcing yourself to stop doing something that you truly love, you're going to be quitting from a place of deprivation. And not only is that going to result in more intense withdrawal symptoms and a significantly more challenging quitting journey than this has to be for you, but it's going to be a really unpleasant experience. An experience that you're likely not going to take anything positive away from. And I tell people all the time, quitting cannabis and the benefits that you ascertain from quitting cannabis is heavily dependent upon your mindset and what expectations you have in sobriety, the expectations that you set forth. Because quitting a drug can be an incredible experience. For me, it dramatically changed my life. It changed my business. It changed my personal life. It changed my relationships, dramatically changed my financial situation. And it can do the same for you. But you have to go into it with the right mentality. So in order to help you frame that mindset, I made a video about the 7 benefits of quitting cannabis, benefits that you've probably never considered before. And you can follow me into that next video, and I can almost guarantee you it's going to get you excited. So you're quitting from a place of motivation and excitement versus a place of deprivation and giving something up and being forced to do it. Because no one wants to be forced to do anything, even if we're forcing ourselves to do that thing. All right, I'll see you in this next video here.